tempted by evil. Samantha is a curious young woman who has always been fascinated by the supernatural. She spends her days reading books about ghosts, demons, and other dark forces, but has never experienced anything that could be considered truly paranormal. One day, Samantha hears rumors of a group of devil worshippers in her hometown in Florida. She becomes intrigued by the idea of demonic rituals and begins to research everything she can about the group. As she delves deeper into their practices, she begins to feel a strange pull towards them. Despite her reservations and the warnings of her friends, Samantha decides to attend one of the devil worshippers' gatherings. She is initially hesitant, but becomes increasingly fascinated by the dark and mysterious rituals. As Samantha becomes more involved with the group, she starts to feel a sense of belonging and purpose that she has never felt before. She enjoys the thrill of breaking societal norms and the power that comes with the forbidden rituals. Samantha's newfound interest in the occult quickly becomes an obsession, leading her down a dangerous path that will challenge her beliefs and her sanity. As Samantha becomes more involved with the devil worshippers, she starts to feel the seductive pull of the dark side. She is introduced to new members of the group and becomes closer to the charismatic leader, who goes by the name of the Master. The Master takes a personal interest in Samantha and begins to mentor her in the ways of the occult. He teaches her powerful spells and incantations that promise to unlock hidden knowledge and unleash untold power. Samantha is drawn in by the Master's charm and the promises of the devil worshippers and begins to see the world through a different lens. She becomes more and more fascinated by the dark forces at play and begins to see the appeal of the devil worshippers' way of life. The Master begins to share more of the group's secrets with Samantha, and she is initiated into the inner circle of the devil worshippers. As she becomes more involved in the group's rituals and practices, Samantha starts to feel a sense of euphoria and power that she has never experienced before. However, as Samantha becomes more seduced by the group's power and her own desires, she becomes blind to the dangers that lie ahead. The seductive pull of the devil worshippers' world leads her down a path of no return, and she soon realizes that she is in too deep to back out. As Samantha becomes more deeply involved in the devil worshippers' world, she begins to see the consequences of her actions. She becomes increasingly isolated from her friends and family, who do not approve of her newfound interest in the occult. Samantha's mental and emotional state deteriorates as she becomes more obsessed with the devil worshippers' practices. She experiences nightmares and visions, and starts to see signs of the supernatural all around her. As she delves deeper into the group's rituals, Samantha begins to realize that they are not just harmless games, but that they have real-world consequences. She sees members of the group become more and more consumed by the darkness, and even witnesses the harm they inflict on others. Despite her growing doubts and fears, Samantha cannot bring herself to leave the group. She is too deeply entrenched in their world, and feels that she has nowhere else to turn. The consequences of her actions finally catch up with her when she is confronted by her friends and family, who have been trying to reach out to her for weeks. Samantha realizes that she has been blind to the dangers of the devil worshippers and the harm that she has caused to herself and those around her. In this moment, Samantha begins to understand the gravity of her situation and the true nature of the darkness that she has been dabbling in. In an attempt to further immerse herself in the devil worshippers' world, Samantha is invited to take part in a ritual at an abandoned house on the outskirts of town. The house has a dark history, and it is said to be haunted by the spirits of those who died there. Samantha, along with the other members of the group, begins to perform a ritual to summon the devil himself. As they chant and perform the ritual, strange things begin to happen around them. Doors slam shut. Objects move on their own, and ghostly apparitions begin to appear. Despite her growing fear, Samantha is unable to tear herself away from the ritual. She is determined to see it through to the end, no matter what the cost. As the ritual reaches its climax, a figure appears in front of the group. It is the devil himself, and he is surrounded by an aura of darkness and malevolence. Samantha is initially filled with a sense of awe and wonder at the sight of the devil, but her excitement quickly turns to terror as she realizes the true nature of the being before her. The devil seems to look directly at Samantha, and she can feel his malevolent gaze piercing through her very soul. In that moment, Samantha realizes that she has truly entered the realm of the demonic, and that she may never be able to escape its grasp. Following the terrifying ritual at the haunted house, Samantha begins to experience strange and disturbing occurrences in her daily life. She feels as though she is being watched constantly, and she hears strange whispers and voices in her ear.
As her mental and emotional state deteriorates, Samantha begins to feel as though something has taken hold of her. She feels an intense sense of darkness and malevolence within her, and she begins to act out in ways that are completely out of character. One night, while in a state of deep distress, Samantha attempts to reach out to her friends and family for help. But her words are twisted and distorted, and her pleas for help come out as something altogether different. She seems to be speaking in a language that is completely unknown to her. Samantha's loved ones become increasingly worried about her state of mind, and they seek out the help of a local priest. The priest performs an exorcism on Samantha, but it is clear that the darkness within her is strong. As the exorcism reaches its climax, Samantha seems to be taken over completely by the malevolent force that has been consuming her. She screams and thrashes about, and it becomes clear that she is no longer in control of her own body. In that moment, Samantha's loved ones realize that they may have lost her forever to the darkness of the demonic. Despite being consumed by the darkness of the demonic, there is still a part of Samantha that fights to regain control. She begins to have flashes of memories from her past, memories of a happier time before she became involved in devil worship and the dark rituals that came with it. With the help of a therapist and her loved ones, Samantha begins to undergo a journey of self-discovery and redemption. She learns to confront the trauma and pain from her past that led her down the path of devil worship, and she begins to take steps towards a healthier and more positive life. Through a combination of therapy, medication, and support from her loved ones, Samantha is able to overcome the darkness that had consumed her. She learns to let go of her fascination with demonic rituals and to focus on living a life filled with positivity and love. Though her journey towards redemption is difficult and painful, Samantha ultimately emerges from it a stronger and more resilient person. She is able to look back on her past with a sense of clarity and understanding, and she is grateful for the opportunity to have been able to turn her life around. After Samantha's ordeal with demonic possession and her subsequent journey towards redemption, she feels a newfound sense of strength and purpose. She becomes determined to confront the darkness that once consumed her and to face her fears head-on. With the support of her loved ones, Samantha decides to return to the haunted house where she had participated in the devil worship ritual. She knows that it will be a difficult and emotional experience, but she feels that it is necessary in order to fully move on from her past. As she approaches the house, Samantha feels a sense of unease and dread wash over her. She remembers the darkness and malevolence that had once resided within her, and she worries that it will return if she enters the house again. Despite her fears, Samantha presses on and enters the house. As she walks through the halls, she feels a sense of familiarity and recognition. Memories of the ritual flood back to her, but she is now able to view them with a new sense of perspective. Rather than feeling drawn to the darkness of the demonic, Samantha feels a sense of detachment from it. She recognizes the danger and harm that comes with devil worship and is able to distance herself from it. Leaving the house, Samantha feels a sense of closure and peace. She knows that she will never fully forget her past, but she is grateful for the opportunity to confront it and to move on from it with a renewed sense of strength and purpose. As Samantha continues her journey towards healing and redemption, she realizes that there are still some loose ends that need to be tied up. Specifically, she needs to confront the people who had led her down the path of devil worship, and who had convinced her to participate in the ritual. Despite her fears, Samantha reaches out to her former friends and asks to meet with them. She is nervous about the confrontation, but she knows that it is necessary in order to fully move on from her past. When they meet, Samantha is surprised to find that her former friends are still involved in devil worship and are unrepentant about their actions. They try to convince her to return to the fold and to once again participate in their dark rituals. But Samantha is now stronger and more resilient than she ever was before. She refuses to be drawn back into the darkness and stands up to her former friends. She tells them that she wants no part in their devil worship, and that she is committed to living a life filled with positivity and love. Though the confrontation is difficult and emotionally draining, Samantha emerges from it with a newfound sense of closure and peace. She knows that she has done what she needed to do in order to fully move on from her past and to create a better future for herself. Samantha reflects on her journey towards redemption and forgiveness. She knows that she has come a long way since her days of devil worship, and that she has made significant strides in her personal growth and development. Despite the challenges she has faced, Samantha has been able to find a sense of peace and purpose in her life. She has surrounded herself with positive influences and has committed herself to living a life that is grounded in love and compassion. As Samantha looks towards the future, she knows that there will still be obstacles to overcome and challenges to face. But she is confident in her ability to navigate these challenges and to continue on the path of healing and growth. Ultimately, Samantha's story is a testament to the power of redemption and the human capacity for change. Though she was once lost in the darkness of devil worship, she was able to find her way back into the light and to create a life that is full of hope and promise. As the ghost story comes to a close, Samantha realizes that her journey is far from over, but she is excited to continue on this path and to see where it will take her next. Samantha begins to notice strange occurrences happening around her once again, as if the demons from her past are returning to haunt her. At first, Samantha tries to dismiss these occurrences as mere coincidences or her imagination. However, as the incidents become more frequent and more disturbing, she realizes that something sinister is at play. Samantha begins to research and investigate what might be causing these eerie events, and she discovers that there is a new group of devil worshippers operating in the area. They seem to be targeting Samantha specifically, perhaps seeking revenge for her abandonment of their cause. As the demons continue to close in around her, Samantha must draw upon all of her strength and courage to confront them. She knows that she cannot go back to her old ways, but she also knows that she must face the demons head-on in order to protect herself and those she loves. This chapter sets the stage for a tense and suspenseful finale, as Samantha must confront her past in order to secure her future.
The tension reaches its peak as Samantha prepares to face the devil worshippers and their demonic forces once and for all. Samantha reaches out to her friends and family for support, but she knows that this is a battle that she must fight alone. She arms herself with knowledge and prepares for the final confrontation. As Samantha heads into the heart of the devil worshipper's lair, she feels a sense of dread wash over her. The air is thick with the smell of incense and candles, and she can hear the low chanting of the worshippers in the distance. With her heart pounding in her chest, Samantha approaches the center of the room where the high priestess and her followers are waiting for her. The priestess tries to intimidate her, but Samantha stands her ground and refuses to back down. In a fierce battle of wills and powers, Samantha uses her knowledge and experience to fight off the demons and the devil worshippers. In the end, she emerges victorious, but not without scars, both physical and emotional. This chapter provides a satisfying and thrilling conclusion to the story, as Samantha confronts her fears and overcomes them. It also highlights the importance of standing up for oneself and facing the consequences of one's actions.
Samantha struggles to come to terms with the traumatic events she has experienced and seeks closure to move on with her life. Despite her victory over the devil worshippers, Samantha is haunted by the memories of their rituals and the darkness she witnessed. She realizes that she needs to find a way to put the past behind her and move forward. Samantha seeks counseling and therapy to work through her trauma and learns new coping mechanisms to manage her anxiety and fears. She also reaches out to others who have gone through similar experiences and finds solace in their stories of survival and recovery. As Samantha continues to heal and grow, she finds new purpose and direction in her life. She decides to use her experiences to help others who may be struggling with similar issues and becomes an advocate for mental health and trauma survivors. This chapter offers a hopeful and uplifting conclusion to the story, as Samantha finds the closure she needs to move forward and make a positive impact on others. It highlights the importance of seeking help and support when facing traumatic experiences and the power of resilience and perseverance. The evil force that Samantha thought she had defeated returns, and she must confront it once again. Samantha starts to experience strange occurrences in her daily life, such as unexplained noises and objects moving on their own. She dismisses them at first, but soon realizes that the devil worshippers are back and seeking revenge. Determined to protect herself and those she loves, Samantha enlists the help of her friends and family to prepare for the upcoming battle. They research and gather weapons and defenses to use against the devil worshippers. As the night of the ritual approaches, Samantha and her team prepare themselves mentally and physically for the fight ahead. They set up traps and strategically position themselves to gain the upper hand. The final battle is intense and grueling, but Samantha and her allies ultimately emerge victorious. They banish the devil worshippers and put an end to their reign of terror once and for all. This chapter is a thrilling and action-packed conclusion to the story, as Samantha and her team face their greatest challenge yet. It highlights the importance of being prepared and standing up against evil, even when it seems impossible to overcome. Samantha and her friends must deal with the aftermath of their battle against the devil worshippers. After the intense fight, Samantha and her team are left emotionally and physically drained. They take a moment to catch their breath and process what has just happened. As they survey the scene, they realize the extent of the damage caused by the devil worshippers. The once beautiful forest is now littered with debris and the remains of the ritual. They also discover the bodies of some of the cult members, a stark reminder of the price that was paid to defeat them. Samantha and her friends mourn the loss of life, but they also take comfort in the fact that they were able to prevent more harm from being done. They also reflect on the lessons they learned during their journey, including the importance of friendship, perseverance, and standing up for what is right. As the group begins to make their way back home, Samantha notices something glinting in the rubble. It's the amulet that started it all, the one that had led her down this path of darkness and evil. She picks it up and feels a shiver run down her spine, but she knows that it's safer with her than in the hands of anyone else. As Samantha and her friends come to terms with the consequences of their actions, it also highlights the importance of learning from our experiences and not repeating our mistakes. Sarah reached the clearing and saw a group of hooded figures surrounding a fire, chanting in unison. She recognized one of them as the store owner she had spoken to earlier. He beckoned her to come closer. Sarah hesitated, feeling a sudden fear of the unknown. But her curiosity got the better of her, and she slowly walked towards the group. As she approached the fire, the chanting grew louder and more frenzied. Sarah saw that they were performing a ritual with a goat carcass, blood dripping from its mouth. Suddenly, Sarah felt a sharp pain in her chest, as if something had pierced her heart. She fell to her knees, struggling for breath. The hooded figures continued their chanting, seemingly oblivious to Sarah's agony. But then, as suddenly as it began, the pain subsided, and Sarah felt a strange sense of calm wash over her. She looked up at the group, now aware that she had been drawn into something far more sinister than she could have imagined. But it was too late to turn back now. Sarah knew she was now a part of the devil-worshipping cult, and the temptation of power and knowledge would keep her there, forever bound to their dark and malevolent practices.